Who's going to fill the almost 3,700 appointments in the Trump administration? Time is running short. Reince Priebus from the RNC was just named White House Chief of Staff. John Bolton or Rudy Giuliani could become Secretary of State, reports suggest. But who's going to face the press every day in the briefing room, one of the most high-profile jobs in the West Wing? One name apparently on the short list is our old friend Laura Ingraham, who joins us now. Yes, you are. Well, you're not old. I'm old.
Thanks a lot, Tucker. By the way, I'm just still trying to get over the microaggression. I felt there was a sphere of microaggression on the first of all, I'm so happy to be on your debut show.
I'm so glad you're here.
And they said, would you be on Tucker's first show? I said, are you sure he wants me?
And
I said,
kidding?
I said, oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
I wanted to get you on before you get drafted by the Trump people.
Yeah,
so would you take the job?
You know, I'm honored to be considered for that job and other jobs. So we'll see what happens. But I would. Look, you are my old friend, and I'd tell you, but I think people are getting a little far ahead of the narrative. But
is it hard for? I mean, you've been trained for as long as 20 years, as long as I've known you, to give your own opinions. Is it hard for people who have a life like yours to sort of transition to?
You know, I'm sure there's an adjustment period. You know, I have my company life's that. You know, radio, Fox. You know, I write a bunch of books, so it's a big decision. But I'm at the point where if my country needs me, and if I could do something to actually, advance the Trump agenda, which is stuff I've written about now for 15 years with trade and immigration and just renewing America, then I obviously have to seriously consider that.
So are they on schedule, do you think, to populate this administration?
I think so. And I'm not sharing any inside information here, but it's a heavy lift. I mean, there's a lot to do. I worked, right out of college in the Reagan administration, and I was just a little peon, junior speechwriter in domestic policy. And there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of different moving parts. The agency level, the independent agencies, the cabinet, the departments, the underlings. Like, you pick the cabinet, everyone's like, okay, we're done. Oh, no, because the assistant secretaries and the deputy secretaries and their staffers and the chief of staff, that's
titles that exist only here in Washington.
Yeah, exactly.
So where's Christie in all this? And without asking for inside information, but he was, my understanding was, running the transition. And now you keep hearing that he's not involved at all. Like, what's that about?
I'm not sure what can happen there, but I do think that clearly Mike Pence is has a significant role. But I know Chris Christie and Donald Trump are old friends and good friends, and I would be shocked if they they weren't in daily communication.
So you can learn a lot about how someone plans to govern by the people he hires. Yeah. And so early in this race, Donald Trump laid down a marker on foreign policy against the Iraq War and foreign adventurism in general, and a lot of the neocons in Washington really took umbrage. I mean, they didn't like it at all, and they still don't like it. And so I'm reading now that John Bolton and Rudy Giuliani are under consideration for Secretary of State. I like them both. They're very smart. Yeah. But they're on the other side of that debate. So what does this tell us about where Trump plans to go?
I think Trump's agenda is going to be Trump's agenda. And if you go into the Trump administration, you're not going to be pushing someone else's agenda. You're going to be pushing his vision for American renewal on the economic front and a pragmatic foreign policy, I think, closer to Reagan than to George W. Bush, where it's peace through strength, rebuilding this economy, sending a strong message to our adversaries and our allies that we take care of business at home, we honor our commitments to our allies. But if, let's face it, if Americans don't have faith that the economic system here is going to work for them, then we're going to have a lot of semantic debates about American intervention around the world. So I think Trump made that clear during the campaign that we got to get this country going again to make sure our military and our men and women in uniform are properly cared for and do all that. It's a lot to do, but it's not 1985. We have $20 trillion in debt, and we have to be very honest with ourselves and with our allies and our adversaries about what's possible.
It's a massive departure from the past, whatever happens.
Well, and probably wasn't smart for all these national security experts. A lot of them are really good people, but to sign these letters and Trump's dangerous to the world. I mean,
well, not just some experts, but like the entire foreign policy establishment. So the question becomes,
they were always right. Because they made all the right decisions.
Is there a group that was wrong more consistently than the people who run
other than the press corps and calling this election?
And the CIA. No, you're absolutely right.
So there are a lot of people who have a lot to answer
for. So really quickly, the Steve Bannon question, he was elevated just below the White House Chief of Staff. It's caused a lot of controversy. I'm withholding judgment. I don't know enough. I do know that he appears to have a long trail of broken relationships behind him. Are you concerned that this is a divisive appointment?
No, you know what I'm concerned about is that people on the outside of this administration are going to try to blunt the effectiveness of the Trump team. Bannon, Kellyanne, Steve Miller, Dave Bossie, and I think Reince Priebus all together ran a really successful operation that beat the Clintons, the Obamas, and the Bushes.
Right.
The media, Hollywood, academia, all of them. The entire U.S. press corps. That core group of people are stellar, and they did a stellar job.
Well, I agree. I mean,
and the smear campaign that's going on about Steve Bannon, and I've been around Washington a long time, I don't like these smear campaigns. I think they're unfair. I think people are tired of them. He's a very smart person. He has, he built a media company, just with an idea. After Breitbart really brought that to the fore. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I get it. I understand that. But I think people should take a breath, give him a chance. He's a really good person and a really smart person.
I don't know enough to render judgment. I will say Stephen Miller's one of the smartest people I've ever met.
And I mean, brilliant, 30 years old.
We're good to go.
This is a good team.
Well, it's a good omen to have you on.
Congratulations to you, Tucker.
I really appreciate
You're
that.
never someone who wants any praise, which is another reason why people like you. So many people have come up to me in the last few days saying, great. They're so excited.
I owe them money, and now it's time to kind of settle up.
They're excited for you, and anyone can get you to get a haircut. That must be a real step up for you.
That was by force, trust me. Laura, thank you.
Great to see you.
Great to see you.
All right, take care.